Hello there, Deb.
Good morning. How are you, Rachel?
I am good. It's good to see you
Good.
again.
You too.
This is the travel world. We're gonna focus on, how ahead the travel world is of everything.
Yes.
Because here we are, we're just kind of getting into some nicer weather now. We're thinking spring, thinking summer, and I feel
Yes.
like maybe we should have some Christmas music going in the background.
I think we're rushing it a little bit here.
Maybe a titch, but these are two great Christmas trips that you have going.
Yep.
Um, the end of this year, actually November and December, that we want to make sure everybody
Yep.
knows about now, so they
Right.
can get tuned up. We're gonna talk about Christmas in Branson today. That trip is going November 6th through the 9th of 2023. And then Deb's also going to follow that up with the Nashville Country Christmas. And that trip will be headed off on December 9th, and it will be back on the 15th. So you'll be back. Plenty of
Yep.
time for Christmas, plenty of time to get ready for all of that fun stuff
Exactly.
that's coming
Yep.
too. So I will stop talking. I'm going to hand it over to you, Deb, and listen in to two of these great Christmas trips we have going this year.
Okay. Well, the first one here, like Rachel said, is the Christmas in Branson. That's November 6th to the 9th. It's a 4-day trip. And we do this trip every year. It's usually always the first week in December, or excuse me, the first week in November that we do it. And that again will be the case this year. And what's special about doing it this week, this first week here, we always get, for those of you that have been to Branson, which is most of you, you know how Branson respects and how they pay tribute to all the veterans 52 weeks out of the year. But they go above and beyond on Veterans Week down there. And so this is the week that we're going to be down there again, will be Veterans Week. And so those of you vets that are on this tripway plan to be honored over and over and over again, extra special, because they really go above and beyond. So on the first day, Monday, November 6th, we'll pick you up in your departure city. And while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to go ahead and mention these departure cities. They're Fort Dodge, Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, Ames, Ankeny, Grinnell, Coralville, or Williams. Any of those places where we can arrange to have you picked up there. And we'll travel down to Branson, but shortly before we get to Branson, we're going to stop in Ozark, Missouri, and have a nice barbecue supper there that night. It's always fun there to eat. I think it's the rib crib that we eat at there, if I'm not mistaken. And it's always a good meal. And then we leave there, and then it's just about an hour drive into Branson. So then we'll get you into Branson. We'll get you checked into the hotel there. We always stay at that La Quinta Inn, which we've stayed at the past couple of years. A very nice hotel. They always have a big good breakfast there each morning. But anyway, after we get you checked in the hotel, then we're going to reload the bus up, and we're going to travel a mile or so down the road down and do the Branson Christmas lights. Found out last year I do that the first night we get down there. It works the best. So it's a drive-through Christmas display, lots and lots of lights, and it's just a lot of fun. And it gets us in the spirit there to get things going and get in the Christmas mood. So then the second day we will get up in the morning, and we're going to get up in the morning, and I think that's the day we're going to go down or over and do the Branson Craft Mall as well. I like to take in a few extra things while we're down there. And the Craft Mall is one of them. It's always a fun place to go for an hour or so. But then we'll head on out just outside of town, again, just outside of Branson. We're going to do this year. We haven't done this in a few years, so I wanted to throw this in again. We're going to do the luncheon cruise on the Branson Belle, on the showboat Branson Belle. It's always good entertainment, a fun cruise out there on Table Rock Lake. Again, lots of Christmas music and lots of good food. So that'll be a good thing. Then after
Deb,
we leave,
not to interrupt, but you were just in the Ozarks, right? And you also
yes,
did the
yes,
celebration bell.
yes, we did. Yeah, yeah. Jim and I were just down there in Branson and northern Missouri or northern Arkansas here just 2-3 weeks ago, and yeah, we did do the Branson Bell that day too, and that was fun.
Awesome.
Always good food and
Mhm.
fun to stroll around out there on the lake. So anyway, then after we get done with that, Then we're going to go over to College of the Ozarks, which is just on the edge of Branson there. And for those of you that haven't been there before, this is a unique university. We're going to go out there and have a tour. One of the students from there comes on board and tours us around the campus. And while you're out there, you're going to learn, as we visit, just how the university is so unique in so many different ways. But the one big thing is that students there pay no tuition whatsoever. They work to pay off their tuition. That's how they go about it, so they don't get out. So when they get out of there after a 4-year degree, why they don't have this outstanding debt. So it's really neat. They're really dedicated there to this, and so it's a cool place to visit. They have different things out there. When I said like they have to work off their tuition, they have a really neat bakery out there that we visit. They've got a nice horticulture center there that they've put together. They've got a nice farming operation out there, both livestock and agricultural, that you'll learn about. There's a beautiful church that's right on campus there, and you'll get to see all that. So anyway, that's always a fun few hours to spend out there. Then we'll come back to town, and that evening we're going to do the Pierce Arrow Country Show. I love Branson. Used to be before Jim and I got so busy in the bus world here that we used to go down to Branson 3-4 times a year, and we loved it. Well, we don't get to do that anymore right now because we're so busy here on bus tours. But we do squeeze down there at least once or twice a year on our own. And Pierce Arrow is, out of all the shows that are there, they're all good in their own respective ways. But Pierce Arrow is one of my favorite shows. We've got 4 guys up there that do fantastic harmony. It's really neat. They got a bass singer that's just fantastic. And I think you'll really enjoy that show. So we'll do that night. Then we will, the next day on Wednesday, we will get up and we'll have a morning show that day. And we're going to have another country show that morning. It's going to be the Down Home Country Show at the Grand Theater there. And it's a fun, fast-paced country show. So I think everybody will enjoy that. Then in the afternoon, we're going to take in the Haygoods. They have been there in Branson for many, many years. They started out as 4 brothers that came and a sister. And they started out at Silver Dollar City, and they eventually ended up in town. And they do all kinds of music. They play and sing all kinds of music. They're very, very multi-talented. There's just hardly an instrument that any of them can't play. So, and you'll see that throughout the show. So that's a good show. And then we will go down on the landing, the Branson Landing, for a little while there. And we're going to have lunch at Paula Dean's restaurant. It's right on the landing down there. And while we're there, we'll give you time to do a little shopping too. We won't spend too much time down there, but the landing has got a lot of unique shops, I guess I would call them. And anyway, you'll get a chance to do a little shopping there. Then that evening, we are going to see the Hughes Brothers show. And again, that's another family show. These 2 started out as 4 brothers 20-some years ago. They came to Branson. And these boys have now grown. I mean, they're all obviously adults now and have their own families. And each family has gotten huge. Each of the boys have several kids. As a matter of fact, the oldest boy, I didn't realize he had quite this many kids. And Jim and I went to this show, the Hughes Brothers, when we were down there a few weeks ago. And the oldest brother, just announced now that they just had another child. And that meant that brings him now, just himself, that's their 15th child.
Oh my.
In this day and age, can you imagine having 15 kids? Wow. And he's got 15, and the other 3 brothers, they've got 5 and 6 and 7 apiece. So it ends up being this huge, huge family show. And it's fun to see because, especially at Christmas time, all the little kids come out and they all perform, and that's always fun to see. So that's going to be a good show. And then that'll end our time in Branson then. That'll be the 3rd day. Then we get up the next morning and we start back for home. And as usual, we will stop in Osceola, Missouri, about 2 hours up the road north from Branson at our normal stop that we always stop there at the Osceola Cheese Mart, and everybody can fill up on cheese and bring home cheese and eat to your heart's content on cheese after you get home. So again, it's a fast 4 days, but we do a lot while we're down there. In addition to visiting the craft mall, in addition to seeing the 5 shows, we're going to visit the craft mall. Like I said, we're going to do the Amish store. We always go to the Amish store where you can pack up on or supply up on your dry goods and get all them, and that's always fun to do. And then a little shopping on the landing downtown on the strip. So that'll be good. As far as pricing, it's $10.99 per person, double occupancy, $12.79 per person single, and $9.99 per person triple or quad. Also, a big thing I wanted to mention here, if you choose and think you're interested in this, if you get booked before May 15th, which is just less than a couple weeks away, you will still qualify for the early booking discount. So you'll get $25 off of this per person off of this trip. So that's always a good deal. So make sure you get your reservation in before that if you know for sure you want to sign up and save yourself $25.
You bet.
So I think that's about it on that one.
Perfect.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so do you want to go on to Nashville now?
Yeah, yep. And then Nashville we'll just head right on into. Let's let everybody hear about Christmas.
Okay, so then like she said, I'm trying to get my thing here adjusted a little better. There. Oops. Little kitty wampus. Okay. Anyway, then in December 9th to the 15th, we're going to go to Nashville again. We usually try and do Nashville every year, and if not every year, every other year. And I like to change things up a little bit when we go down there too. Do some of the normal standard things that we always do that people always enjoy, like staying at the Opryland Hotel and all that kind of stuff. But also, I thrown in some other fun things that we haven't done down there in a while before. So our first day out will be Saturday, December 9th, and we will take off again, picking you up in the same locations that I listed for the Branson show, or the Branson trip. And then we will make our way to Fairview Heights, Illinois, which is just outside of St. Louis. So we'll be staying at a Drew there the first night, and of course that means that you'll have your supper there at the hotel, plus you'll have happy hour. So that's always fun to do, fun way to relax and get to know all your fellow travelers. Then the next day, we're going to get up Sunday, June 10th, and we will travel to Nashville, which will be about a 5-hour trip from our hotel down to Nashville that next day. And of course, I wanted to bring up, in case you haven't done motor coach trips with us before, we always stop every couple hours and let you get out and stretch and use the premises and all that kind of good stuff. So you're not stuck on the bus, the whole time. We always try and stop every 2 hours, give or take a little bit along the way. So then we'll get down to Nashville in early afternoon that day, and we're going to take you out to the Andrew Jackson Hermitage. And that we haven't been there in a few years. That's a really, really neat place. Andrew Jackson was the 7th president of the United States. And this, I was reading a little history on this morning, and this presidential mansion out there is the 3rd most visited presidential home in the country. So that's pretty cool.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
It sits on a 1,120-acre National Historic Landmark. It's beautiful out there. Beautiful, beautiful settings. I mean, the greenery out there is really, really cool. And then when we get there, we'll have a guided tour of the mansion. You'll learn all about that. And then you'll go out, and they've got a huge, huge garden. And they say it's an acre big. And we go out and tour the garden. You get to go into the museum. You walk the grounds. There's a cemetery out there in the whole schmear. So you'll get to see and take in all that. It's just kind of a fun couple of hours. So that's something different that I threw in that we hadn't done in a few years.
Neat.
And then after we get done there, we will go on into Nashville, and we'll get you checked into the Opryland Resort there, which is where we always stay every time. And we'll be staying there for 3 nights, and we'll hub and spoke out of there. And I think you're really going to enjoy that. If you've never been to the Opryland Resort, it is beautiful. It's huge, 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 huge. And they've got some beautiful atriums throughout the facility. And at Christmas time, they're really, really decorated up, really pretty. So I think you'll like those. Anyway, we'll get you checked in there, and then that evening we don't have to leave, but we're going to be the resort there. We stay right there, and then we're going to have a dinner show right there at the resort. And this is always fun to do because they always have a special group or singer there every year that does the whole Christmas season. And this year they're going to have Daryl Worley, a country artist, down Nashville country artist. And he, if you maybe know his name but don't remember what he used to sing or what he sang, one of his hit songs a few years back was "Have You Forgotten?" And that was a song that was inspired by the attacks of 9/11. So I think you'll enjoy that. We will give you some time off and on through the next few days that we're staying at the Opryland Resort there. We'll give you some free time to wander around the atriums and see them all and take them all in. Like I said, they're just beautiful at Christmas time. They're really, really pretty. So, and that next morning, that Monday morning, will be one of those mornings that you will have a few hours to. You always get breakfast there at the hotel, and then you'll have a few hours to wander around the resort and kind of get familiar with it and take in some of the shops and just different things that are there. And then that day, on Monday, we will do a luncheon cruise. We're going to do a little luncheon cruise on this tour as well. We're going to do the General Jackson Showboat. That too, we go out on the Potomac River there, and we have a really nice cruise, a very good lunch. It's a high energy show, again, musical show. So it's always fun, and that. There is a 300-foot paddle wheeler, and this is one of the largest showboats in the country that do this. So I think you'll enjoy that if you haven't done it before. And then we're going to leave there, and then we're going to go over to Ice, which is right near our hotel as well there. The Opryland complex, if you haven't been down there before, it is huge. I mean, huge, huge, huge. The hotel itself is huge, the resort. Then they've got lots of fun things going on all around it. And Ice is down there. And years ago, when they first started this, they started it as it was all underneath this big tent. Well, a few years back, they built a permanent building now. And what Ice is just what it says, is that it has beautiful, beautiful ice sculptures in it. These ice sculptors from all over the world, from Japan, China, you name it, wherever. They've come and they do these beautiful, beautiful ice sculptures every year. They're really detailed. They're colored. They may, have colored ice, and it's just really, really neat to see. And one cool thing is that every year it's always a theme, a certain theme. They do Disney themes. They do just all kinds of a different theme each year. I don't know what the theme is yet this year. They haven't announced it. But anyway, it's just a really cool thing to see. And one of my favorite things that they have in there that they do every year is that they carve a beautiful, beautiful nativity scene. And it's really, really neat to see it. So anyway, it's fun. Needless to say, it's a little cool in there because they got to keep the ice from melting. So they give you these big parkas as you walk in there, while you'll get fitted with this great big huge thick downed parka that you wear while you're in there. So that's kind of neat. So anyway, we'll do that. And then we will take you back to the hotel again after that, and we'll let you have the rest of the late afternoon and evening again to roam the hotel more. You'll get to take in what they refer to as the Delta Riverboat inside the hotel complex. They've got a man-made small river that runs through the hotel. And they've got a small little flat bottom, or a few small little flat bottom boats that go around and all around these atriums. And so you'll get to ride on that too. That'll be included in. So they've got lots of good restaurants there and all kinds of good eating things to find. So you'll get to do that evening. Then the next day, I'm going to change things up again than what I normally do. And this time we're going to leave town. We're going to leave Nashville on Tuesday for the day. And we're going down to Hurricane Mills, Tennessee, which is about an hour and a half or so southwest of Nashville. And we're going to go out and visit the Loretta Lynn Ranch. I haven't had groups out there in several years, and I just wanted to take them back. That's a really, really neat thing. Needless to say, it's totally, honoring Loretta. And they've got a really neat, we get a chance to tour her mansion where she lived out there. And they brought in the replica cabin that they built, like where she grew up in Butcher Holler, Kentucky. That was the actual set that they used for the movie Coal Miner's Daughter several years ago when they filmed that. So you'll get to see all that. It's really neat. And then for lunch, we just go up the road a little ways, and we're going to have lunch at Loretta Lynn's Kitchen right there in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. So that'll be a fun day, just something different than what I normally do. And then we'll get you back into Nashville late afternoon that day, and then we're going to take in the Grand Ole Opry that night. And I never take any groups or anybody to Nashville without taking in the Grand Ole Opry. So we'll get to see some legendary artists there that night. I don't know who they're going to be yet. It's too early, to know that. But closer to the time, why I'll be able to tell you, a few weeks out. If you're interested, but no matter who it is, it's always a good show. Then the next day, that will be coming into Wednesday, we'll leave Nashville. We're going to start heading back towards home, come up through Kentucky, and our first stop that morning is going to be in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And we're going to stop and visit and tour the National Corvette Museum. And this museum, the Corvette Museum, opened up in 1994. And it's home and library and archives and a museum exhibit to all the spectacular Corvettes. They showcase a lot of rare collectibles and one-of-a-kind prototypes, some that never went into production. They just made one of them. So they're really, really neat to see there. I mean, some of them are worth millions of dollars. It's pretty cool. Then we'll leave Bowling Green. We're going to travel on up the road a few hours further up to Louisville. And that's where we'll be staying the night, is in Louisville that night. We'll get you checked into another brewery up there, where again you'll have supper and happy hour. Then after you're through with that, we're going to take you out to what's referred to as the Louisville Mega Cavern. And what the central Kentucky area, Louisville, Lexington, that whole area there, they are kind of all cities in an area that's almost built on caverns. There's just, all these huge underground caverns all over the place down there. The rock is just, the formations are all over. Well, anyway, we're going to take in what's referred to as the Mega Cavern down there, just outside of Louisville. And this cavern, believe it or not, is big enough that they have a paved road that goes through the cavern. It's probably a mile and a half long. And on top of that, not only is it a paved road through there, it's a big enough cavern that they've got it to where our full-size motor coach is able to drive through the cavern. So it's really, really quite something to see. They've got it filled with oodles and oodles of Christmas lights all the way through. All these different sponsors come in and put in their own Christmas lights. And so it's really, really neat thing. It's a one time, this is the only thing like this, they say, in the world. It's the only underground cavern that has this and is able to do this. So it's really pretty fascinating. And I think people really seem to enjoy it. It's pretty cool. So anyway, we'll get those in. And then we'll stay again, like I said, that night in Louisville. Then the next day we get up and we continue our journey back north, and we're going up as far as Peoria, Illinois. And I have a good friend there that has a glass blowing studio right there in Peoria. She's a very talented artist, and she puts on these shows for people. and she'll come in, and where we come in, and she'll just show us the whole art of glass blowing. I mean, it's all right there. We just sit right there in front of her, and her and her 2 or 3 team gals, the team, they all just do this and show what aspiring works of art they can make. So I think you'll enjoy that. It's a really, really neat demonstration that they put on. So then we'll leave there. We're going to go check into our hotel, and we're not quite done with Christmas just yet. After we have supper there, well, then we're going to go out to their Festival of Lights display. They're in Peoria. Peoria, again, it's another drive-through display, just like the ones in Branson and those places are. And this one here they consider it one of the largest light displays in the Midwest, this one here in Peoria. So it's really cool to see that. They're all special and they're all unique in their way. But anyway, so you're getting lots of Christmas lights while you're on this trip. And then we leave the last day, which will be Friday, and we'll leave Peoria and head back for home. But I've got one more little surprise for you on our way home that day, too. So I don't want to ruin the surprise. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. But anyway, so we're not quite done with surprises yet. So we'll get you home that day then. On this trip, again, we have another early booking discount. If you book by June 15th, you'll get a $50 discount off on this trip. And as far as pricing, this one is $22.99 per person double, $27.99 per person single, and $21.49 per person triple or quad. So again, take advantage of the early booking discount if you're interested. And if you have any questions, give me a call or email me or text me or something, and I'd sure be glad to answer any questions.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. Maybe now we've got you thinking about Christmas a little bit. Don't stress about the rest of it. Just think about some of these fun trips. And like Deb said, there's lots of great shows to attend, lights to see, caverns to experience.
Yeah, both of them are unique in their own way. I mean, it just depends on if you want a little shorter trip. Why Branson is obviously the answer. But if you want to get down and take in the fun stuff in Nashville, why, we'd love to have you there too. So
yeah. We hope you'll choose one or both. I mean, there's nothing against going on both, right? You're going.
Got 2 or 3, 2 ladies for sure. I'm thinking maybe 3 or 4, but at least 2 that are already signed up for both of them. So
yeah. And just remember those early booking discount deadlines. I know that Branson is May 15th.
Yep.
And then Nashville is June 15th.
Correct.
I'm going to go ahead and put Rhonda's information up here. If you have any more questions about either of these trips, you can also give the office a call. She'd be happy to answer any questions or send you any itineraries you might be interested in. You can also find the itineraries on our website, and that would be northlandtravel.com. If you click on the group tours page, you'll scroll down a little bit because it's near the end of 2023, but you will see both of those there. So thank you so much for joining us today and learning about a couple more trips. And Deb, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day.
All right, thanks. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.